Good evening, my dear students. Kumusta naman mo? Welcome once again to our class in ethics. So, I hope that all of you have already watched the video that I uploaded yesterday. It was all about the introduction of our course in ethics. So, may I know if you have learned something in that video? So, if in case I spoke too fast or there are some points that were not properly explained, you just kindly write your comments and questions in the comment section, no, in the comment box, so that I can also appropriately respond to those questions. Okay, so let us now proceed to the next lesson. This will be lesson number 2. So the title of this topic or this lesson is the imperatives of ethics. So in lesson number 2, the intended learning outcomes are the following: for you to understand what is the meaning of imperative and what is its relevance to ethics. No? Have you heard about the word or term imperative? So after this lesson, it is expected that you can already explain or perhaps describe what we mean by imperative. The second is to analyze ethics in the context of the imperatives, meaning to say you can now explain why ethics cannot stand, or why ethics can be irrelevant or without meaning or without purpose if the 3 imperatives of ethics are not present or the imperatives are incomplete. So when we speak about imperative, this means it is a basic requirement. It is a requisite. No, it is an essential element. For without these imperatives, ethics will become senseless. No? Kung sa Bisaya pa, mo ni ang mga dapat, no? Must. Dapat naan ni sila. They must be present. All these elements or these imperatives must be present so that ethics will become applicable and useful to the human life. Because if the imperatives are incomplete or not present, then ethics will be useless. Ethics will be meaningless. So when we speak, I repeat, when we speak about imperatives, these are the necessary, the basic, the fundamental elements or requirements so that ethics will be useful and relevant to the human life. Okay? So, applying in the human context, applying to our life, what are the things that you consider imperative for your existence? Okay, so with this question, you have to identify what are those things that are basic, that are necessary, that are must, kinahanglan, so that your existence will be meaningful. No? So kung atong tan-aw ng atong kinabuhi, perhaps there are things that may not be imperatives, but there are also things that are considered imperatives. Because without these things that are imperatives, then our life will become meaningless and without purpose. So going back to ethics, there are imperatives, no? There are requisites, or there are basic requirements so that ethics will become meaningful and useful to the human life. There are three imperatives of ethics. The first is the existence of God. Okay? So the first imperative is the existence of God. With this first imperative, God must exist. Do you believe in God? Do you think God really exists? What a question. Bitaw. So, this is a requirement of ethics. Why do you think? Ganong kinahanglan man nga God must exist so that ethics will become meaningful and purposeful to the life of man. No? Kinahanglan ba jud nga naay Ginoo para ang ethics dunay meaning, dunay sense sa kinabuhi sa mga tao? What do you think? So in ethics, the existence of God is an imperative. No, it is a basic requirement. It is a fundamental element for ethics. Why? Because it is God who will punish those who are not abiding with the standards. It is God who will give reward to those people who have been working hard, not really working hard, but those who are following and observing the morality, the ethical standards, and the law of God. The Ten Commandments, for example. Okay? So, God must be present. God must exist because He is the one who will punish those who are doing wrong, and He is the one God will give reward to those people who are doing good. So, the God that we believe in may not be the same God that is being worshipped by people from different parts of the world. So, for the Muslims, they have their Allah. For the Hindu, they have their own God. But what is important, we may have different concepts of God, but what is important is that there is a being, there is someone that or who will punish those people who are engaging in wrong deeds, and who will give reward to those people who are doing good. Okay, so that is the first imperative of ethics, the existence of God. The second imperative of ethics is the existence of freedom. Freedom. We human beings, we value and we treasure very much our freedom. No? The freedom to move around, the freedom to do the things that we want to do. Freedom is the second imperative of ethics, because if there is no freedom, then ethics will become senseless. What is the use of doing good? What is the purpose of following the standards if there is no freedom? So, ethics will only become sensible, will only become relevant to the life of the human person if that human person is free. Gawas nun sa pagbuhat sa mga butang nga gusto niyang buhaton. No? So as I mentioned earlier, we human beings, we treasure, we value very much our freedom. That is why when a person violates the law, no, ang usa ka tawo ning lapas sa balaod sa nasod, for example, ang usa ka tawo nakapatay o ang usa ka tawo na nangawat o nanulis, so what is the punishment? The punishment is imprisonment. Prisuhon ang tao, kuhaan siya og kagawasan sa paglakaw-lakaw o sa pagbuhat sa isang gusto nga buhaton. Okay? Freedom is taken away from him, and that is very hard. No? It is beyond our imagination what life will be like if there is no freedom. Okay? But Why should be freedom considered as an imperative of ethics? Unsa may naa sa freedom nga it is considered man as an essential element, a fundamental requirement for ethics. Aside from the existence of God, freedom must also exist. Why? Nga naman kaha sa inyong hunahuna, unsa may naa sa kagawasan that it is a requirement for ethics. Ethics needs freedom for ethics to become meaningful and purposeful in the existence of the human person. Well, with freedom, there is responsibility.